That's what I tell
It's
them.
also, it's an accumulation of time, right? Like, look at people who make it in anything. It's, they're laughed at, they're laughed at, they're laughed at, they're laughed at, bang. And then all of a sudden, what does everybody say? They're like, well, they're just like that. It's
overnight.
That's what being egoless is. Like, it's like, do you love yourself enough that despite all of these other people who may be critiquing you, like, internally that this is going to work out? For me, when I was in 9th grade, when I was like kind of, unconnected with the club space, like wasn't like a highly touted recruit, like I knew, I'm telling you, I knew. There was zero doubt in my mind. And that's what it
incredible.
is. Like it's a level of self-belief that overrides any outside noise. And I think a lot of that, right, is like it's choosing to engage in suffering that serves you. There's a duality of this life. Every decision you make is basically dual-pronged. It's greed versus selflessness, like ego versus
love versus fear.
Yeah, love versus fear.
It all traces. That's the Parcells lineage.
Truth versus lies. And
right.
I look at that, right? And so frequently, like, we as human beings have such a selective viewpoint on the plus minus, right? It's like, well, what I want to count will count, and what I don't want to count doesn't matter. But everything counts. You're living in a universe quite literally comprised of positive and negative energy that is perfectly balanced.
Literally.
If you want to get to a level where your life is extremely positive, and it's not just sports, it's anything, like your inputs in the sense of like your decisions on that duality just have to lean to the right side every time.
Right. And I think that what's sad to watch, and it's sad to live this, like when you're young, you respond to this, like you believe in this, like kids believe, most of the kids, unless they have traumatic things going on in their lives, obviously there's exceptions, but in a good home, right, where there's not as much trauma, like they full of love. Kids are
100%.
They're born full of love. They're born in the right mindset.
I remember vividly as a kid being around, like extended family, and I remember kind of like seeing them consume certain substances, and I remember, never experiencing that, right? Like, have you ever been in 6th grade prior to experiencing anything? Like, I could use a beer right now.
Right.
Like, you have no clue what that feels like, right?
Right.
And I remember being at such a young age and thinking to myself, like, do we not have, like, everything we need? Like, why would we need anything else?
Right.
You know what I mean? And you grow up and you're basically conditioned in the sense of, like, believing a lot of this stuff is normal, and all of a sudden, just through like repetition and conditioning, you don't even bat an eye at it. You know what I mean? But I really agree with that in the sense that I think that we're all born like just pure and full of love, and I think that you're like a balloon ascending upwards, and these attachments kind of cake on to you.
Or a canvas, like Yoda likes to say, and these people are just adding paint.